Get your ears wrapped around the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast. All the scoop you need to know from college basketball to the NBA and even March Madness. News of your rising stars. Topics on and off the hardwood. This is the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast.
Alright, and welcome to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. This episode is brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network, and as always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. Alright, second show of the off-season. Alright, has not been, is it second or third? I think it's the second. Actually, I think it's the third. I believe. I think it's the third, actually. All right. So anyway, it's the third. Nonetheless, let me tell you what we're doing today. We got a draft to talk about. I haven't been able to talk about it since last week. I want to tell you what happened, give my thoughts on it for the first segment. Second segment, we're going to talk about whether or not it's a smart idea for the Lakers to trade for Kawhi Leonard. All right, just given the fact that it seems that he knows and we all know that he wants to end up with the Lakers, whether or not he gets traded to somewhere else. All right. We're going to talk about free agency as a whole. In the third segment, going to look at the list of free agents and just give my thoughts on it. And then for the fourth segment, we'll be talking about anything else going on in the world of basketball, anything that crosses my mind as far as scenarios or just weird NBA thoughts. Maybe we'll talk about all the weird NBA stories from this season. Okay, so that's how today's show is going to go. It's going to be a fun one. All right. But nonetheless, let's get into it. Okay. So we had the Suns obviously picking number 1. And the pick was DeAndre Ayton. I am perfectly fine with that pick. No problem with it whatsoever. Okay? I think Ayton and Booker, I keep saying Shaq and Kobe tossed around. Let's chill out on that, please. Okay, we don't need to compare every duo to Shaq and Kobe. Alright? We don't need to compare every duo to Jordan and Pippen. We don't need to compare every duo to Marbury and Garnett. That last one was a joke. Okay. But nonetheless, I mean, Suns got themselves a little solid squad. Alright, with the Ayton pick, you got Booker, going to be indeed the point guard most likely. All right, but you got Booker, you got Warren, you got Josh Jackson, you got Ayton, you got Bender, you got Len on the bench. I mean, you can't really be too unhappy there. Okay? So that's who the Suns take at number 1. Then at number 2, the Kings take Marvin Bagley. I'm a bit confused here. Okay? I understand that people probably thought, hey, you should have went with Doncic instead of Bagley. But people are talking about this Kings pick, this Bagley pick, as if they reached way too high for this guy and he's already going to be a bust. I don't get it. If he was ranked so high, I mean, isn't this a decent pick by the Kings? I get the whole Doncic was the better prospect and all, but I mean, it's not like Bagley was someone ranked really low. He was one of the top 3 players in this draft. Okay? And I mean, of course, the guy can't shoot, but he kind of reminds me of Jaylen Brown. Obviously, they play different positions, but nonetheless, I mean, Jaylen Brown and Marvin Bagley, both extremely athletic coming into the bench. And one of the biggest knocks on him was didn't necessarily have the most reliable jump shot. Okay? People were yelling at the Celtics for not taking Chris Dunn instead of over Jaylen Brown. Think about that. All right, people were angry at the fact that the Celtics took Jaylen Brown instead of Chris Dunn. Okay, Chris Dunn's is a decent player for his development, but he does not come close to Jaylen Brown. All right. And I kind of get the same vibe with Marvin Bagley. People were saying, oh, yeah, you should have took Doncic, but in reality, your favorite NBA scout, your favorite NBA scout analyst or whatever you want to call him, doesn't really know what's going to happen with these players. They don't know if they're going to play well. They don't know if they're going to play poorly. Because you can't account for that. You can't scout for that. Okay? There's so many other factors that go into it. Does Doncic look like the better player at this point? Sure. That doesn't mean that Bagley's going to be terrible, though. I mean, literally, people yelling at the Kings as if they took some guy who is going to be a late lottery pick. All right. Bagley easily could have went number 3 to the Hawks if he still would have been out there. But, of course, he didn't. So everyone expecting maybe Doncic goes to the Hawks at number 3. Obviously, there's no way that they pass on him. They do. Oh, boy, do they. All right. Hawks said, we're cool on Luka Doncic. Hey, Dallas, do you want him? We'll take him, and you take Trae Young for us. We'll be happy. We'll trade you. All right. So the Hawks end up drafting Doncic. And the Grizzlies end up taking Jaren Jackson Jr. And then, like I said, the Mavericks end up taking Trae Young. Hawks trade Doncic over to Dallas. Dallas trade Young over to Atlanta, also with another first-round pick. I really hope the Hawks know what they're doing here. Okay? Because this is one where I think we could all agree as of right now that Doncic is the better player. Okay, I like Trae Young. I think he would have been better suited with a New York Knicks type team. But nonetheless, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much I like this. Okay, and I'm assuming that the Hawks got to trade Dennis Schroeder, right? I don't see a spot or point where you got Schroeder and Trae Young on the floor at the same time. All right. But nonetheless, they did that. Okay. Then you got Mo Bamba going number 6 to the Magic. That one hurt me a bit. I really liked Bamba. The Magic have always been a team where they're always going to draft good young talent, but they'll never develop it the right way. Okay. I'm really hoping they don't waste Mo Bamba. Like, really hoping. And chances are they will, because that's what the Magic do. That's what they've done. Okay. So we'll see how that ends up. I mean, of course, you get Jonathan Isaac there. Now you've added Bamba. Aaron Gordon's a restricted free agent, so I'm assuming they're going to match whatever he gets. All right. Then you got Wendell Carter Jr. going number 7 to the Bulls. He'll be a nice piece to put alongside Lauri Markkanen, Baby Dirk. Pick number 8, Colin Sexton to the Cavs. I like that pick. All right, they finally get their point guard now that Kyrie's gone. Isaiah Thomas didn't work out. Jose Calderon didn't work out. George Hill didn't work out. We'll see if Colin Sexton does. Okay. But nonetheless, I mean, he did look good in the NCAA tournament. I think he's going to be a decent player for them. Then you got the Knicks at pick number 9. They could have taken Mikal Bridges, could have taken Michael Porter Jr., could have taken Miles Bridges. Instead, they take Kevin Knox. You feel like Mikal Bridges or Michael Porter Jr. was the pick here, but, I mean, the Knicks have always seemingly gone away from what they should have done. Last year, they should have took Dennis Smith Jr. They took Frank Ntilikina. They did take Kristaps Porzingis one time at 4, so I guess that's a plus there. All right. Well, Kevin Knox, we'll see about him. Knick fans didn't really look too happy about the pick at the draft. All right, I think we even had the father and dad who booed the Porzingis pick there also again. Okay. Then at pick number 10, probably story of the night for the draft for me. Philly's up. Okay. Mikal Bridges is still available. Villanova guard. All right, or small forward, I should say. Still available. Baum works for the 76ers. I think she does like human resources or something like that over there. Philly's the hometown team. Mikal Bridges' favorite team. Philly takes him. What a story. All right. What an absolute story. He gets to play for his favorite team. Also a very good player, so he's most likely going to help this team from the jump. All right, going to be playing in the playoffs with his favorite team. I mean, it's just great all around, right? Wrong. The best part about the story is that they trade him. Okay? Philly trades Mikal Bridges after having him do a press conference talking about how excited he is to play with the Sixers. All right, taking pictures, answering questions about it. He's still doing stuff, talking about the Sixers, not even knowing that they've traded him. I mean, it was a bit ridiculous, all right? So Philly ends up trading Mikal Bridges to Phoenix for Zaire Smith. I mean, if that's what Philly felt they needed to do, then go ahead. But you got to think that Mikal Bridges was the right pick at number 10. They probably should have held on to him. All right, and this wasn't the most popular move among Philly fans either. You felt like this was a match made in heaven. Brett Brown says, I don't care. I'm trading this guy. Okay. So, I mean, Brett Brown, he's about his business. All right. Bucks take Dante DiVincenzo, point guard out of Villanova. Grayson Allen goes to the Jazz. Perfect fit for him. Okay. Goes to a team that made the playoffs last year and has a coach where he's going to know where to put Allen in the right spots to succeed. So I think Allen's going to be a decent player for the Jazz this season. All right. And you got the Pacers taking Aaron Holiday. I think that's a solid pick. The brother of Justin and Drew Holiday. Now they got 3 brothers in the NBA. Something that the Balls are probably never going to be able to do. All right, pick number 25. Lakers take Mo Wagner. I think that's a solid pick there. Pick number 27 by the Celtics, probably the steal of the first round. They got Robert Williams. Guy who plays above the rim, is a solid rim protector. All right, and is very athletic. I mean, something Boston's needed for years. So that's how the first round turned out. I mean, like I said, Mikal Bridges getting traded from Philly, by far my favorite story of that night. All right, but nonetheless, I mean, I think the Suns had the best draft ending up with Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton. Mikal Bridges is talked about as one who is already NBA ready, and DeAndre Ayton's basically a grown man. So we'll see who ends up ending, I guess, the benefitter of this draft. Is benefitter a word? Or is it benefactor? I'm not sure. But nonetheless, I'm not too mad at the Kings for taking back. I think he's going to be fine there. So we'll see what ends up going down. But nonetheless, next up, we're going to be talking about whether or not the Lakers should trade for Kawhi Leonard. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. Spent that first segment giving my thoughts on the draft, mainly the first round, because, I mean, second round we don't really turn out too many prospects, but nonetheless, we spent the first segment talking about the first round of the draft. All right, I like what the Suns did. I like what the Nuggets did. They took Michael Porter Jr., I think with the 14th or 13th pick, whichever pick they had. Nuggets going to be a real good team going forward, all right? I'm not sure if Porter's going to be able to play this season, but nonetheless, I mean, whenever he does come out there, I mean, if everything they say about him being able to shoot the ball and score is true, then Jamal Murray, Gary Harris, Porter Jr., all right, Paul Millsap, and Nikola Jokic are going to be a very scary team to play against. I'll tell you that much. All right. But nonetheless, that's what we talked about for the first segment. Okay. Now we head over back to the Kawhi Leonard situation. Okay, it's going to be one we're covering a lot. I'll just let you know that off the top, okay? But nonetheless, I mean, obviously, Kawhi Leonard doesn't want to be in San Antonio for whatever reason it may be, whether it's he just feels betrayed or he just wants to make more money in a bigger market. Okay? But nonetheless, I mean, does it make sense for the Lakers to trade for Kawhi Leonard? All right? I mean, look at it this way. Okay, you're the Lakers, and obviously you have a goal this offseason to sign LeBron James and create a team good enough to compete with the Warriors. I'm assuming that's their goal, right? I mean, or is their goal just to bring in a superstar and make money? All right, I'm assuming their main goal is to beat the Warriors. Okay. So they're trying to get LeBron. They're trying to get Paul George. They know that Kawhi wants to be there. All right. But necessarily, that doesn't mean the Spurs want to trade him there. Okay. So let's put it this way. The Lakers know Kawhi Leonard wants to play for them. The Lakers know the Spurs don't like them. All right. Spurs necessarily don't have too much leverage as far as trading Kawhi because everyone knows he wants to be gone. But that leverage goes out the window for the Lakers given the fact that the Spurs are going to try and get as much as they can out of you in order to get Kawhi Leonard. Okay? So my point is that Spurs don't seem to want Lonzo Ball. So I'm assuming it'd take a trade package of Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, and 2 first-round picks. Okay. If you're the Lakers, are you willing to give that up? Remember, the consensus is that Kawhi Leonard wants to play for the Lakers. Kawhi Leonard, after this season, is a free agent. If you're the Lakers, are you willing to give up Brandon Ingram and Kyle Kuzma when you have the possibility of signing him next offseason? I mean, there always is the possibility, too, that he gets sent to like a team like the Clippers, the Sixers, or the Celtics and signs a long-term deal there, too. All right? He didn't say the Lakers were the only LA team he wanted to play for. And I really thought the Clippers were going to trade for him on draft night. Okay? I mean, you would have had 3 first-round picks and Tobias Harris. That seems like a pretty decent haul to me. Okay? I mean, Spurs could have ended up with Michael Porter Jr. if they wanted. Imagine they take Lonnie Walker, Michael Porter Jr., and then whoever else they want with that 3rd pick of the 1st round. That was the draft for them to do it. Could have took Miles Bridges too. All right. But nonetheless, like I said, if you're the Lakers, I think that they have a big decision obviously ahead of themselves. All right. And it seems that there's a lot of pressure on the Lakers given the fact that trading for Kawhi Leonard essentially gets you LeBron James. Okay. LeBron's not going to go to the Lakers without help. Okay. And with it seeming more and more like Paul George isn't really sure that he wants to be in LA and stay in OKC instead, the Lakers got to jump on this. Okay, and there's been teams that have already offered for Kawhi Leonard. It's just that the Lakers haven't been one of them. All right, and like I said, I mean, the Spurs just don't seemingly want to do business with the Lakers. Adrian Wojnarowski reported that they called up the Spurs, but the Spurs weren't really having it there. Okay, and I'm always curious to see what those conversations are like. Is it like Magic calls, Popovich answers, and it's like, oh, nope, we're not talking? Is it something like that, or are the Spurs genuinely listening to what the Lakers have to offer? Okay. And like I said, Spurs got no leverage with every team except for the Lakers, I'd say. All right. So it's going to be really interesting. If it was me, I'd say you go after Paul George and LeBron first. All right, you get them there. And then you see what you can do with Kawhi Leonard. If you get Paul George and LeBron, I don't think you need to trade for Kawhi, and you pretty much wait for him to become a free agent. Okay. But nonetheless, like I said, there have been teams that have offered trades for Kawhi already. The Celtics, Cavs, Clippers, and Sixers, I believe, are teams that have already kind of gotten the negotiations going. I mean, right now, the Cavs, the most they could really offer is like Kevin Love, probably. I don't know. Would they trade Colin Sexton for Kawhi Leonard? If that meant keeping LeBron? It's kind of like the Andrew Wiggins situation all over again. I mean, I think you got to do it if you're Cleveland, right? If LeBron says, yeah, I'll stay if you trade for Kawhi Leonard, and that trade requires you to give away Colin Sexton, I think you do it. All right, and I think you got to get rid of Kevin Love, too. I mean, that'd be a pretty decent haul. Next year's Cavs pick and Sexton and Love for Kawhi. That's not bad. Clippers could offer their first-round picks and Tobias Harris for Kawhi and a first-round pick next year probably. All right. Celtics, I mean, it's just a matter of how much do you value Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Because I'm assuming one of them's got to go in order for you to get Kawhi. All right. And there's the point where it's not even known whether or not Kawhi would sign long-term with the Celtics. Okay, so that's a bit of a risky move there that I probably wouldn't pull the trigger on if I'm Danny Ainge. All right. And then for the Sixers, I mean, they probably offered up Fultz, their pick, and some picks for next year. I think for Philly to get Kawhi, it'd take Fultz, either Covington or Saric, and a bunch of picks for Kawhi. All right. And are we even sure that Kawhi gets traded from the Spurs and doesn't just spend a year there and become a free agent? I mean, that's a possibility. All right, he doesn't necessarily need to leave. It'd be foolish for these Spurs to let him go for free, though, so I think, yeah, he probably does need to get traded. Unless they work something out where Kawhi wants to stay long-term with the Spurs. All right, if he changes his mind. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, this whole Kawhi Leonard sweepstakes, it's very interesting. I'm not sure who's going to end up where. But nonetheless, I mean, if he ends up with the Lakers, I think that pretty much already sets the wheels going for LeBron to end up there. Okay. Do you think LeBron and Kawhi Leonard are enough for the Lakers to beat the Warriors? I mean, Lonzo, you're going to need a 2 guard. Or I guess you could go Lonzo, Kawhi. Well, even then, I mean, if you get Kawhi and you're the Lakers, there's no way you keep Brandon Ingram, right? I'm assuming it'd be Lonzo, Kawhi, LeBron. I'm curious to see who else they'd put out there, like the center and the 2 guard. All right. So even then, I mean, Kawhi and LeBron isn't just going to help you beat the Warriors. You need to add like a second or third superstar like Paul George or something like that. Plus, you got to shape up the bench in order to be able to compete with the Warriors. All right. But like I said, if I'm the Lakers, I'm not necessarily sweating trading for Kawhi Leonard, given the fact that he does want to end up in LA. All right. It could just be one where he's a 1-year rental for a team and he ends up coming to your squad after that. Okay. So it's going to be really interesting to see what Magic Johnson does. I mean, he talked about that. If he doesn't get the players that he needs to in the next 2 summers, then he's just going to resign. All right. Those might be the words of a confident man there that knows he's going to get some stuff done. I mean, Magic Johnson seems to have that kind of charm where he knows who he is and he knows what he needs to do. All right. So we'll see what ends up going down. But like I said, if I'm the Lakers, I'm kind of second-guessing trading for Kawhi given the fact that he does want to end up there. All right, but we'll see what they end up doing. I mean, free agency starts next week, I believe, so it's going to get going all fast, but I do think LeBron's probably going to end up with the Lakers. But speaking of free agency, we're going to spend more time on that in the next segment, so stay tuned for that, and I will be right back.
Check out the show that's built on the MMA. From the UFC to extreme cage fighting, they got the fights covered. Check out the GSMC MMA podcast. Get the latest news on past or upcoming fights. Join us as we talk to and about some of the biggest names in the MMA, past, present, and future. When it's the fight game, there's just one show to check out. GSMCpodcast.com/MMA-podcast. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. So far today, we've talked about the draft, and we've talked about whether or not it'd be smart for the Lakers to even trade for Kawhi Leonard, just given the fact that he most likely still wants to end up out there after this upcoming season. All right, I mean, Spurs trade Kawhi over out east. He only spends a year out there. He can still come over to LA. If you're the Lakers, you don't have to give up anything up for him. I mean, it's a bit of a win-win situation there. But, of course, there's always the chance you're taking where he ends up liking where he's playing. Maybe if he's playing for a Philly or Boston and ends up staying there long term. Then you don't have Kawhi Leonard. All right, so it's up to them whether or not they want to trade for him. But, nonetheless, I mean, they do have some questions there. Okay. Now we look to free agency. Obviously, the biggest free agent on the market is LeBron James. That's not a question at all. You got Kevin Durant, who's going to be a free agent, but, I mean, looking like he's just going to be re-signing back with the Warriors. Paul George, obviously a free agent. Chris Paul, Clint Capella, DeMarcus Cousins, DeAndre Jordan, Aaron Gordon. Well, DeAndre Jordan isn't a free agent yet. He's still going to opt out, but looking like he might do a little opt-in and then have the Clippers end up trading him to the Mavericks. That's what it's looking like right now. All right, then you got Aaron Gordon, who's a restricted free agent, Julius Randle, Marcus Smart, J.J. Redick, Trevor Ariza, Derek Favors, Isaiah Thomas, Tyreek Evans, Jabari Parker, Joseph Nurkic, Zach LaVine, Will Barton, Fred VanVleet, Luka Mbamute, Thaddeus Young, Avery Bradley, Rondo, Wayne Ellington, Brick Lopez, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Rudy Gay, new Puma athlete I should add, Rodney Hood, Enes Kanter. Enes Kanter, someone's gonna get a nice little player there if he opts out, if he hasn't already. All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. He's got a player option. He's gonna be making 18.6 if he opts in. You think he gets that on the open market with anyone else? I don't think so. I think if you're Kanter, then you gotta opt in, right? I mean, Porzingis is going to be out for a while. Your stats are going to be looking pretty nice while he's out. All right. So I think if I'm Kanter, I'm opting in. See, Joe Harris is a free agent. Montrezl Harrell, Dante Exum. Elfrid Payton's a restricted free agent. Okay, let's see. Greg Monroe, Nerlens Noel. Nerlens Noel is going to be a fun one to follow, just given the fact that he could have got a decent-sized deal. I think with Dallas, all right, but didn't like the money they were offering, went to go look around. No one else really offered him anything and ended up taking a qualifying offer with the Mavericks and basically bet on himself. That didn't work out. Nerlens Noel could be getting next to nothing this season. All right. Dirk's got a team option. He might just take less money. Aaron Baines, but he's going to be signing a multi-year deal with the Celtics. It's looking like Dwayne Wade's got a decision whether or not he wants to retire or go back to Miami. Okay. Let's see, Jeff Green, Bellinelli, Bielika, and Seth Curry. So that's pretty much the notable free agents there. I mean, obviously, the one everyone's going to be watching for is LeBron James. Okay, where's he going to end up? It seems like it's going to be LA or Cleveland now. And from everything that I've seen on social media and all, it's going to be LA. All right, he's going to end up in LA. I mean, LeBron goes to LA. He's already the best player who ever played there, right? I mean, he's better than Kobe. Some argue that Magic's better, but, I mean, we'll leave that up to them. He's better than Shaq. I mean, how is that going to be for Kobe fans? As soon as LeBron puts on that jersey and plays 1 minute in a Lakers uniform, he's already better than Kobe ever was. All right, he's already a better Laker than Kobe. All right. I mean, is that going to bother Laker fans to know that LeBron James is now a better Laker than Kobe Bryant? I mean, he's a better player, right? I'm assuming that makes him a better Laker if you were to go there. It's all right. Okay. I mean, Kobe just isn't as good. No, but in all seriousness, I mean, it's going to be a bit odd. I mean, Kobe fans and LeBron fans have been going at it since the beginning of time. All right, this is one of the longest conflicts in our history. They never seem to like each other. I mean, you got the Kobe fans saying they wouldn't want LeBron on their team. All right, they don't need him. It's Kobe's the Laker guy. But, I mean, it's LeBron James. And this is going to be very interesting because, I mean, Laker fans are basically like they blind loyalty to Kobe. Blind loyalty. All right. Honestly, a bit ridiculous how loyal they are to Kobe. But, nonetheless, I mean, you got to welcome LeBron in with open arms. But I'm curious to see how that dynamic works. Like, how they're going to treat LeBron, like if they treat him the same way as Kobe. LeBron's got about 5-7 more years left in his career. Okay. Chances are LeBron's going to end up with the Lakers for the rest of his career. What if LeBron brings in a few championships? Is he still not going to be as loved as Kobe was? I don't know. All right, it's a possibility. Also, there's another possibility of Paul George becoming a Laker, but Adrian Wojnarowski, all right, Woj bombing everything, tweeting that Paul George became pretty comfortable playing with the Thunder. He likes playing with Russell Westbrook. He likes Sam Presti. He likes Billy Donovan. All right, I can't tell you whether or not he likes Carmelo Anthony. I mean, who would after that season he put up? Carmelo Anthony too. You got to appreciate the guy. He knows he stinks, and he knows people are mad at the fact that he opted in and took $26 million from the Thunder, but he doesn't care. I mean, very admirable. All right. I'm not the biggest Melo fan. I'm not a Melo fan, to say the very least. I think he's washed up. But to have that kind of self-awareness where you know you stink, and you know it's going to make some people mad that you're opting into your contract and making a bunch of money with the Thunder, I can only applaud a move like that. Okay? But nonetheless, yeah, like I said, Paul George, Adrian Wojnarowski tweeting out that, reporting out that Paul George is kind of comfortable being in OKC. All right? I mean, obviously we saw it didn't work with him, Melo, and Westbrook. And if I'm the Thunder, I mean, you got to buy out Melo, right? You can't have him on your team. I mean, the dude is terrible. He knows he's terrible, but he doesn't care. He's still going to be Melo. All right? I think the Thunder definitely have to buy out Melo if they want to do anything this season. All right. Nonetheless, I mean, if Paul George ends up with the Thunder and Kawhi ends up getting traded somewhere else, does that mean LeBron ends up with the Lakers still? I'm not so sure it does. And Paul George is going to be having like a 3-part series with ESPN as far as his little free agency journey. He's got to be signing with a different team, right? I mean, there's no way you come to the last part of that series and you're, oh yeah, I'm signing with the Thunder. And why does Paul George think he's big enough to... I don't have a problem with it, I guess, because I shouldn't, but... Really? We're going to have a decision part 2, except with Paul George? I mean, we don't care about your free agency journey. Just tell us where you're going. Just like the NBA awards. We don't care about the acceptance speech. Just tell us who won. All right? But I mean, I guess that's what we get. Okay. I mean, there's other free agents out there. I mean, LeBron could end up in Houston. What does that do for Clint Capella? All right. Clint Capella might have to find a new home. And I'm curious, is it a given that Chris Paul is going to end up back in Houston? I mean, what if him and LeBron pull a fast one and they go to LA? All right. I mean, it's possible, isn't it? All right. Then, of course, you got guys like Marcus Smart, Tyreek Evans. Where do they end up? I think Marcus Smart ends up back with the Celtics. All right. Players, when they tend to leave Brad Stevens and go somewhere else, they don't tend to play well. Kelly Olynyk, one of the few who actually did. All right. I think Marcus Smart is one guy where he's a good player, but he's got like a little knack for playing with the Celtics. All right. I think they bring the best out of his ability, so I think it's best for both parties that he ends up there again. Okay. And as for Tyreek Evans, I mean, he's probably going to end up with some team that's looking to start contending or some contending team. He's not going to go to a team like the Grizzlies. Or he won't play for a team like the Grizzlies, meaning a team that stinks. All right. And as for Kevin Durant, I mean, he's most likely going to end up back with the Warriors unless he pulls a fast one. DeMarcus Cousins, I figured that maybe he could end up in Dallas. But it seems like that's where DeAndre Jordan's going to end up. Like I said, I mean, it seems like DeAndre Jordan's going to opt in and they're going to trade his deal over to Dallas. Like I said, I mean, Doncic, Smith, Barnes, Dirk, and DeAndre Jordan, that's a playoff team, I think. All right, I don't think I'm too crazy for believing that either. So let's see, anywhere else? Aaron Gordon, I think he'll probably end up back with the Magic. Julius Randle, I'm curious to see where he ends up. JJ Redick, I could see him ending back up in Philly. Trevor Reeves is going to be a fun player to follow. Isaiah Thomas, who's going to sign him? All right. That's one to pay attention to. I mean, could you see him ending up back in Boston? Maybe they trade Terry Rozier and all their picks for Kawhi Leonard. Isaiah Thomas is the new backup point guard. Why not? All right. Maybe Indiana. Maybe he goes back to LA. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see what Isaiah Thomas gets, too. I mean, you see him getting a multi-year deal, or you think he's going to get a one-year type deal? I think it's more likely a one-year deal than anything, but, I mean, we'll see what ends up going down there. Jabari Parker's also a guy to follow. Zach LaVine, Will Barton can end up in Indiana. So we'll see, but nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Next up, we're going to talk about literally anything else going on in the NBA or anything that crosses my mind. So stay tuned, and I will be right back.
Check out the show built around the women of MMA. From the UFC to the extreme cage fighting, we got the fights covered.
Listen.
It's the Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast. The latest news of upcoming fights, discussions of previous matches. Join us as we talk to and about the biggest names in women's mixed martial arts. Past, present, and future. When it's the women's fight game, you know where to listen to. The Golden State Media Concepts Women's MMA Podcast.
All right, and welcome back to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. So far, we've talked Kawhi Leonard, we've talked NBA Draft, and we've talked free agency. Now we got to find something else to talk about. All right. I mean, free agency isn't here yet. Let's talk about the awards. Okay, I forgot those went on. James Harden, he won MVP. Do we got a problem with that, folks? I think some people do. All right. Why don't you want Harden to be the MVP? Why? I mean, you want LeBron James to win it? People will say he's got the better stats. Better total stats, not better averages or anything like that. I mean, some of them are better. People forget the fact that MVP is a regular season award. Okay? So what LeBron did in the playoffs with the Cavs, as far as the MVP goes, means absolutely nothing. Okay? Nothing. You're screaming at your friends, LeBron did this in the playoffs, LeBron did that. Who cares? Has nothing to do with the MVP. MVP is a regular season award. Okay? Well, LeBron did this, LeBron did that. LeBron finished 4th in the East. All right? Behind a injury-plagued Celtics team. Behind a Raptors team who, I guess, wasn't even that good. And behind a Philly team who had a guy who couldn't shoot the ball and a guy who barely spent his first season healthy. All right? If you want to put it into simplistic terms. Over out West, yeah, that James Harden guy led his team to the number 1 seed where you got one of the greatest teams of all time playing in that conference. Okay? And I mean, I wouldn't have been mad if LeBron would have won it, but James Harden deserved it just as much as LeBron did, and if not more. Okay? There shouldn't be a problem with James Harden winning MVP. I mean, he probably should have won it the year that Steph didn't get it unanimously. Probably should have won it even with Westbrook putting up that triple-double season. I mean, What's the difference between Russell Westbrook putting up a triple-double this year and last year? Why didn't he get the MVP this year? Okay. I mean, all Russell Westbrook had to do was average about 3 assists less, and Harden would have won it. And then he finally gets it this year, and people want to try to take that away. No. All right, LeBron was great this season. Yeah, playoff run, great. Too bad playoff run doesn't matter. Okay. And, of course, you had the Rookie of the Year award being passed out. Donovan Mitchell didn't win. It was Ben Simmons. I'm going to tell you guys something. Ben Simmons is a rookie because that's what the rules say he is. I know you got your little book where you tell people in my book he's not a rookie. Your book doesn't mean a thing. Okay? Ben Simmons is a rookie whether you like it or not. And this isn't like something where you can have an opinion, I don't think he is. Like, no, that's not how it works. It's a fact. Ben Simmons is a rookie. Okay? That's what the rule constitutes. He's a rookie. That is a fact. You can't have the opinion of, I don't think he is, because he is. Like, he is a rookie. He wouldn't have been able to win Rookie of the Year if he wasn't a rookie. Okay? You think the rule needs to be changed? Sure. That's a whole other conversation. But you can't argue that he's not a rookie because he is a rookie. All right? Like I said, your opinion doesn't matter on the subject because it's a fact. The dude's a rookie. All right? So he won it, and I mean, that was pretty easy to see. People were saying Donovan Mitchell would, but I mean, look at the All-NBA team votes. Okay? I think Simmons got like 45 points or something like that from votes. Mitchell had like 2. From then on, you should have knew who was winning Rookie of the Year. All right. So yeah, Simmons gets Rookie of the Year. Gobert wins Defensive Player of the Year. I think that's a bit overdue. Okay? The only knock with Gobert and this little Defensive Player of the Year award, where the years he didn't win it, was he doesn't guard out at the three-point line like a Draymond Green does. But nonetheless, I mean, you try driving into the rim on Rudy Gobert, you're most likely not going to score. All right, 9 times out of 10, you will not score. So I have no problem whatsoever with Rudy Gobert getting Defensive Player of the Year. Like I said, it's most likely just overdue for him. And then you got Dwayne Casey. All right. Dwayne Casey wins Coach of the Year. So the Toronto Raptors fired the Coach of the Year. All right. The Pistons hired the Coach of the Year. You see how that is right there? That doesn't sound too great, does it? All right. NBA franchise fires Coach of the Year. NBA franchise hires the Coach of the Year. One sounds great for one. One sounds like an incredible mistake for the other. All right. I'm going to continue arguing on the hill of, I should say dying on the hill because that's the phrase, dying on the hill of the Raptors shouldn't have fired Dwayne Casey. Okay, you blame that series on the players. Trade DeMar DeRozan, if anything. All right, I could care less. That one was on them. DeMar DeRozan, Kyle Lowry are just simply not good enough to lead a team in the playoffs. All right. That's not Dwayne Casey's fault that DeMar DeRozan completely forgot how to play basketball in that series against the Cavs. What do you expect him to do? All right. I mean, you're going to fire him? Yeah, they did. Now, they fired the Coach of the Year, and the guy they got might not even be half as good as Dwayne Casey. Okay. I mean, you think Brad Stevens deserved this award? Like I said, Celtics were injured most of the year. Kyrie missed a whole bunch of games. Okay. Al Horford missed some games with a concussion. Jaylen Brown missed some games with a concussion. Gordon Hayward got hurt, ended his season within the first 6 minutes of the season. All right, Marcus Smart was out for extended time. Daniel Tice tore his meniscus. And they still finished as the number 2 seed in the East. I think that could have got him Coach of the Year. I'm not necessarily going to be mad at the fact that he didn't, given the fact that I'm okay with Casey winning it, given the Raptors did finish as the number 1 seed. Okay? But I do think that Stevens could have made the argument that he should have won it too. All right, but I have no problem with Harden winning it. I have no problem with Simmons winning Rookie of the Year. Yes, he is a rookie. Well, was a rookie. Now he's going to be a second-year player. All right, and it's just crazy to see. People get frustrated over that. They get mad over the fact that people call Ben Simmons a rookie. I mean, if you get mad over that, then you gotta look at life differently. All right. But nonetheless, I mean, yeah, the NBA awards had no problems with them. The only problem I got with the NBA awards actually is the fact that we got them about 3 weeks after the season is over. Give me the awards after the regular season. I don't need to see acceptance speeches or anything like that. Just tell me James Harden won it. All right, have James Harden give his little speech before team practice or whatever. Okay, I don't need a whole little event. All right, and I think the majority of NBA fans feel that way. All right. But, I mean, NBA's got to make that money, I guess. Okay. But nonetheless, I mean, like I said, James Harden winning MVP, I think that's deserved. Same with Simmons winning Rookie of the Year. Same with KC winning Coach of the Year. And same with Gobert winning Defensive Player of the Year. So, absolutely no problem with either of them from here. All right, we'll get free agency starting up soon. I mean, can't wait for that. It's going to be interesting to see where LeBron goes, all right? Are the Lakers going to be back? Who knows? But nonetheless, we're going to wrap it up here. Today we talked NBA draft, we talked NBA awards, we talked Kawhi Leonard, and we talked NBA free agency. So, thanks for listening to the GSMC Basketball Podcast. As always, I am your host, Jesse Tapia. I will be back next Wednesday, so stay tuned till then, and I will talk to you guys later.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Basketball Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.